Yo, 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 what's going on? It's your dog, the Ultra Melanite, and today we're going to be checking out some woke informational TikToks. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that noti bell so you can be notified when I drop some of these fire videos. You dig? Let's run it. First video.
Black and Afro-Latino people, 9 ether beings. The reason why the other species on this planet, such as the Caucasians,
Notice that he called the other races other
Siberians, which
species.
claim to
It's
be Native
important.
Americans, the Mexicans, and the Arabs. See, the reason why these groups of people would never give you your just due, and they will never admit who you are, whether it's Moors, Hebrews, Aboriginal Americans, the Aboriginal Asians, they will never admit who you are because your truth erases their lives.
Facts.
The fact that we exist prove that these people are not the original Egyptians or the original Israelis or the Palestinians. The fact that we exist proves these people are not the original people of Mexico. And we all know the original people of Asia was black, but they will never admit that. And the biggest lie in American history is that these people are the American Indians.
The $5 Indian.
You see, they will never admit that these things are lies. It's because once you admit that we are who we are, it disproves all these groups all around the world.
Facts.
The reason why the group Kanye West and Kyrie told us about took control of the school curriculum and the school
I know who
history
he talking
books
about.
and wrote us out and put these people and others in is because they are all united in making sure we never rise back and remember who we are.
Get over.
That was a very, very informative video. Fire video, Big Bubble. One of the biggest takeaways for me from that one is the fact that he called the other races other species. And if you know your history, you know that the other races started off as different species until the hybridization process. We couldn't mate with each other back in the day. But let's keep going. That was a great video.
I have a.
Y'all check
you,
this
you
one
said
out.
to.
It's a good one.
You were on a show on February 26, 2021, an interview with Dr. Judy Mikovits, where you said the following, and I quote, "We should not be giving black people the same vaccine schedule that's given to whites because their immune system is better than ours." Can you please explain what you meant?
There's a series of studies, I think most of them by Poland, that show that to particular antigens that blacks have a much stronger reaction. There's differences in reaction to different products by different races.
So I have 17 seconds left. Let me just ask you then. So what different vaccine schedule would you say I should have received? What different vaccine schedule should?
Let me stop it right there. My personal opinion is that she's being a little bit too emotional with the situation and she's removing logic out of the situation. This isn't a one-size-fits-all type of deal. And being the fact that we know that white and black people are different, we originated from different species, we should need a different vaccine schedule. You wouldn't give a cat and a dog the same vaccine schedule. And in that same instance, you wouldn't even give a pit bull and a chihuahua the same vaccine schedule. Like I said, this isn't a one-size-fit-all type of deal. So I got to kind of agree with the guy. We should not need the same vaccine schedule as white people. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Let's keep going.
Happy Friday. Well, now I done
Friday,
seen
Bob.
everything. Apparently, Native Americans might not be American citizens. And this is according to the latest news from multiple news outlets. You can Google it yourself. But essentially, there's the group of people that are trying to do whatever they're trying to do. And the first point of attack is to illegitimize Native Americans from being Americans. So yeah, there's that. And happy Friday.
Hey, the jig is up. I ain't got a dog in the fight, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that video down in the comments below.
Immediately right in its fucking tracks because it's official now. You ready for this?
And hear me out here. Afro-indigenous. So, and that basically states that written into the Mexican Constitution, it is now law that the Afro-indigenous are recognized as full citizens of Mexico and are afforded their indigenous status. And then she went on to state that Mexico recognizes that Afro-indigenous people were on this continent hundreds of years before the Spaniards stepped 1 foot on the soil.
Thousands of years.
It completely changes the narrative of what we've been taught. It completely changes the idea.
Cool beans. I think by now most of us know that the indigenous black American was the first person on this continent, the first person on earth. My question to the community is, why is it that we always need to seek validation from Big Brother or Uncle Sam for our identity crisis that we got going on? We shouldn't need to be recognized by Mexico or the United States or anybody else to be who we are. You dig? But y'all leave what y'all think down in the comments below. I don't like that whole citizenship and, fighting for recognition from the government. But y'all let me know what y'all think down below.
Directly from the Luther King Jr. was a completely made-up character created by the FBI. And I know I'm going to get so much hate for this, but you cannot deny this is not the truth, because this is coming directly from the unclassified files that President Trump released. This is directly from the FBI website, that is vault.fbi.gov. This is where the unclassified document on Martin Luther King Jr., his image, and his assassination is uploaded. Just in the first 5 pages, it completely reveals how Martin Luther King Jr. was selected to be the activist leader and how they pushed it through mainstream media news to create their narrative. It states right there in the middle, I know it's kind of hard to read because the files are old, it says Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was the target of an intensive campaign by the FBI to neutralize him as an effective civil rights leader. And it also says this and other testimony describing this FBI counterintelligence campaign against King reached the public through the news media. Hold on. So create a narrative, hire an actor, and then use mainstream media to program it to become the truth. This is just more confirmation that this has been their playbook the entire time. If you're not, Luther King Jr. was a
Hey, this just goes to show what I've been. This just goes to show what I've been saying for years, that integration was one of the worst things that happened to the indigenous American. Listen at me again. Integration was one of the worst things that happened to the indigenous American. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments below.
Not only Columbus did not discover America, he discovered some of the discoverers, and someone might have predated them. Now, this situation is not particularly new. Professor Leo Wiener in 1921 wrote a 3-volume work on it called African, the Discovery of America, which proved that the African was in America before the Indians. And young Afro-American historian Harold Lawrence has written a book called African Explorers to the New World, which proved that there were African civilizations in South America and India, and the Olmec civilizations in Mexico and South America are distinctly African. The massive heads that you see are distinctly Africans. No other people ever sculptured like the Africans.
We also know, too,
that's Dr. Henrik Clark, one of the OGs of the game. The only thing that they got a little off is the misnomer calling us Africans. But at least even back then, they understood that we were in America before any Asian or European set foot on this continent. Let's keep rocking.
Okay, for y'all that don't know, this is Pocahontas' father, Powhatan. I already said the name, my bad. But this is Pocahontas' father. This man is in the museum. They do not want to show you this. They don't want to show you this. They'll show you something else because they don't want to show you that this was here already. This is the famous Pocahontas, the Disney character. This is her father. Look at that nose. Look at them lips. Look at them cheekbones. I'm going to let y'all see the video, but it's crazy how they want to cover history up because they don't want to let us know who we are in this vast country of America.
I'm live at the Virginia Museum of History and Culture. I'm taking a video, I'm showing you guys the Powhatan. Alright, the Powhatan, as you guys know, is Pocahontas' father. So if you've ever seen the movie Pocahontas, obviously, this is what her father looked like. So as you can already tell, if her father looked like this, Pocahontas looked more like, you know, like me. People who look like us. People who are called African Americans today. So you can see his skin color is brown. Okay, you can see his hair.
All the information out there right now, and if you don't understand that we didn't come off of slave ships, man, it's your fault that you being an idiot. But let me know what y'all think about that one down in the comments, bub.
Have you heard of the Moors? No? What if I told you that they are responsible for making Europe and America what they are today? Except they don't want you to know that. See, the Moors ruled most of the Iberian Peninsula for the 8th century, and they brought things like mathematics, sciences, architecture, agriculture, art, science, basically everything that we consider modern-day Europe. But shh, that's supposed to be a secret. They are actually the ones that are responsible for bringing Europe out of the Dark Ages and into the Renaissance. But again, you're not supposed to know that. Meanwhile, while the Christian Europe had an illiteracy rate of 99% and 0 universities and 0 libraries, Moors, they had 17 universities in 7 cities and over 70 libraries. And then they introduced their education system to Europe. There was a man called Zuriab. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he was a Moor. And he actually pioneered changing clothes based on the season. That's how dumb Europeans were at the time. They didn't even... What? He also invented deodorant, daily bathing, and invented toothpaste. Like, no wonder the Black Plague destroyed Europe. They were filthy. Zuriab also introduced a 3-course meal. Soup, main course, dessert. And the Moors, they even introduced crops that are still prominent in Spain today. Moorish cities also had streetlights, hospitals, and running water. And streetlights and paved streets weren't even introduced in London and Paris for another couple hundred years. Moors are also the ones that built the aqueducts that brought running water from the mountains down to the cities, which gave Europe running water. The father of modern surgery was also a Moor, named Al-Zawrawi. Don't know if I'm saying that right either, I'm sorry. He developed innovative and precise surgical equipment and the premier textbook of Western medical training. Oh, and I bet you thought that the Wright brothers were the ones that are responsible for inventing flight. Nope. Fernaz, again, sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but he was the first one to actually attempt flight scientifically, and he was actually successful. The only thing he wasn't successful on was the landing. And those are just a few of the ways that the Moorish people completely changed Europe. But again,
good information, good information. And don't be confused. The word Moor simply means dark person, black person, brown person. Before the year 1500, the word Moor was used to identify everybody who's considered to be a Negro nowadays. It's not referring to a nation of people called the Moors. It was actually an identification method. But let's keep going.
What I'm talking about when I say something is overshadowing us. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. It has to do a situation with Abraham Lincoln and John Kennedy. Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John Kennedy was elected to Congress 1946. Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860. John F. Kennedy was elected president in 1960. The names Lincoln and Kennedy each contain 7 letters. Both presidents were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both wives of both presidents lost children while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday. Both presidents were shot in the head. President Lincoln's secretary was named Miss Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Miss Lincoln. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners. Both successors to both presidents were both named Johnson. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald, 3 names, Lee Harvey Oswald, who was said to have assassinated Kennedy, was born in 1939, exactly 100 years apart. Both assassins were known by their three names. Both names are comprised of 15 letters. Lincoln was shot at a theater called Ford. Kennedy was shot in a car made by Ford called Lincoln. John Wilkes Booth ran from a theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. Both
Damn.
Oswald and Booth were assassinated before they could go to trial. All of these coincidences are not coincidences.
Cool, Red. That's some deep shit, ain't it? What y'all think? Y'all think them just coincidences, or was this orchestrated? Let me know down in the comments below, because that's some weird shit.
Well, if you make the assumption that the human race arose like around the equator and that skin color, dark skin color would be the phenotype, then are you assuming that as people moved outward, there was a mutation, and if you were in the north, it allowed that mutation to live, which is how we got white people?
Yes.
Would that follow?
Yeah. If Nina Jablonski, who spoke in another one of your things, explained this, and she played a role in studying the reason for dark skin, which is if you have lots of intense sunlight, it destroys folic acid, and it turns out folic acid is really important for babies to develop properly, so it's not too good for a population for the babies to not develop properly. So that's why dark skin. Now, as you move north, there's another essential vitamin called vitamin D. There's an intermediate, biochemical intermediate, that needs to be then converted by the liver, but that intermediate's formed by UV light going through the skin. If you're near the equator and you have a dark skin, it still gets through enough to get your vitamin D. But now if you go north and it's cold and you wrap up and it's less sun because the sun's coming at an angle now, you will get rickets and have other problems supposedly. So that's thought to be the reason for selection for lighter skin.
Well, if you make these...
A lot of good information in that video there dealing with the origin of white people or Caucasians. I don't agree with everything in that. I don't think that white people are mutated versions of black people. I think they started off as their own species and that they were genetically modified using our genes so that we can intermix with them, if that makes sense. But what y'all think? Leave it down in the comments below. Thank y'all boy for vibing with me today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button so it can help me get pushed through the algorithm. Peace out.